I had a lot of time to think last night because it took me a while to fall asleep. And I came to the conclusion that having cancer is like being in a Jackass movie. I don't know if you've seen any of the Jackass movies, but in one of them, there's this giant hand that they set up around a corner, spring loaded, and every time someone would come around the corner, they would release it and it would just smack them right in the face and they'd go flying and they'd be like, winded and discombobulated for a couple of seconds and haha, very funny. That's what cancer is like. It's like you're walking and every time you turn a corner, you know in the back of your head there could be one of those giant hands waiting to smack me in the face. And the thing is, you can't just stop. You gotta keep living your life. So you gotta go around the corner knowing there could be that hand to slap you there. And the thing is, unlike in Jackass, it doesn't just hurt for a bit and, confuse you a bit and like people laugh and ha 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 and then you move on. It's like you turn a corner, get smacked, get back up, turn another corner, get smacked, get back up, turn and so on and so forth. And it just keeps going for day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. You do get some downtime. There are periods where there is no hand around the corner waiting to slap you in the face. But there are certain periods where there's just hand after hand after hand. And I'm currently in one of those periods and have been for the last couple months. And ironically, that expression, the calm before the storm, well, a couple months ago was the calm. The last couple months have been the storm. So, the calm was cool. It's spring, flowers are blooming, it's starting to be warm outside. I can go for walks. I started exercising again. I'm running in the park. I feel good. No symptoms, no coughing, no breathlessness. I feel great. And then I turn that corner and get slapped right in the face by one of those giant hands. And it starts off relatively small. It starts off with, oh, huh, that's weird. I have difficulty breathing now. I seem to be coughing more. In fact, I seem to be coughing, which hasn't really happened in a couple months. I wonder what's happening. Let's just wait a bit to see what happens. Maybe it'll go away by itself. Of course, it doesn't. So go speak to my oncologist. So speak, speak, speak. Followed by test, test, test. Followed by wait, wait, wait. Followed by a meeting with two new doctors, radiotherapists, of course. And they're like, all right, so the reason why you're having the breathlessness and the reason why you're having the coughing, and of course, by the time I finally have an explanation, it's gotten much worse. So they're like, the reason for that is the largest tumor in your lung has grown and it's now pressing against the bronchi, which is causing the breathing issues, which is causing the coughing. So we suggest doing 5 radiotherapy sessions to, first of all, keep it from growing bigger and making things worse. Second of all, it should shrink it at least partly. And that should, in theory, get rid of the symptoms you're experiencing. And something that I did not learn until after the 4th session was, oh yeah, by the way, one of the other reasons why we chose to do it now as opposed to later is because there's a chance that your lung could collapse if the tumor gets any bigger. Like, okay, thanks for telling me beforehand. But anyway, radiotherapy, radiotherapy, radiotherapy. And then I'm like, it's not so bad. I thought it would be worse because they told me about the side effects. And then, of course, turn the corner, that giant hand's waiting for me. There are the side effects. Increased breathlessness, increased coughing, pain in my leg because, just the breathlessness and the coughing was not enough. And, go through that for a couple days and then days turn into weeks. And you get to the point where you're just so mentally and physically exhausted that you can't take it anymore. And then you have a mental breakdown. And yeah, okay, you vent, it feels good. You go back to struggling every single day, but you still find a way to make it through the day, make it through the night, because that's who you are. And things slowly, very, 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 very slowly start getting better. And you're like, oh, okay, I might make it out of this after all. And then, of course, another hand, oh, I'm throwing up now. And I can't keep anything down. So lose a bunch of weight, speak to my pivot nurse, go to the emergency room. Turns out, okay, this is most likely due to withdrawal symptoms or withdrawal from the Decadron, the drug that I'm taking, or the medication I'm taking, been taking for the last 5 months at this point, to reduce the swelling in my head as a result of the radiotherapy that I got there. And yeah, apparently my body has a very difficult time with the lowering the dose. So yeah, at least we found a solution. Cool. So we'll increase the dose for a while, slowly decrease it back down. Eventually you'll be able to be off completely. It'll just take a little longer than expected. So cool, stop throwing up. It's like, yes, awesome. Back from the hospital, they gave me fluids. That one day after the hospital, I feel great. Everything's amazing. I feel like I'm back to normal. I'm like, yes, it's finally over. Then you turn that corner and there's that fucking hand waiting for you. In this case, the hand was constipation. So I went from not being able to eat anything or barely anything because nothing would stay in my body to I can't eat anything or barely anything because nothing comes out of my body. So different problem, same result. Also, aside from coughing, also, apparently another side effect of what is already a side effect, but anyway, another side effect of constipation is it's more difficult to breathe now, which makes it more difficult to sleep. So go back to being exhausted. As an example, yesterday ended up like sleeping 6 hours in the day. And then, I don't know, most of the night, there were a few hours in between because I was sleeping for most of the day, where it took me a while to actually fall asleep for the night, which is why when I had the time to kind of think of this whole cancer is like being in a Jackass movie concept. But yeah. And as you can tell, today I'm doing great. So great, in fact, that I'm having to skip my best friend's baby shower because I just don't have the energy to handle that right now. So, I mean, I don't know what it would have been like anyway. I don't know exactly how much I'm missing. All I know is I don't have the energy both physically or mentally to handle travel, even if they, he offered to come get me and everything, but it's like, I just don't have the energy to be around other people right now. Like even recording these videos, like it's really not that long. And as you can tell, like, okay, yes, I am coughing more today, but normally for some reason, recording a video does not trigger my coughing as much as having a conversation would. I don't know why. Still haven't been able to figure that one out. So it's not really the physical aspect. It's just, at this point, I don't really know what to talk about. I feel exhausted, so my brain is half working. And I don't know. But at the same time, it's like the whole point of these videos is to share the journey, to share the experience, to share the being bitch slapped in the face by giant hands every time you turn a corner. So yeah, that's what having cancer is like. Obviously, varies from person to person, from situation to situation, and from type of cancer to type of cancer. But this is kind of perfect example for anyone who doesn't have cancer, hasn't been exposed to anyone who has cancer. It's like this is what it feels like. It's like in and of itself, it's not that bad. It's mostly things we've experienced before. Like, I'm assuming we've all had difficulty breathing in the past, or coughing, or weren't able to sleep, or weren't able to eat, or threw up, or constipation, or stuff like that. But it's just like everything just piles up and piles up and piles up, and it just never ends. There's always something there to replace it whenever something gets better. So it's like, it gets just very exhausting. it's kind of like sprinting versus marathon. It's like, yeah, okay, running a sprint is much more intense, but it doesn't last that long. So you get a lot of time to recover. Whereas a marathon, it's like, yeah, you just got to keep going and going and going and going and going and hope you make it to the end. That's kind of the difference between the two. Normal everyday life would be like sprinting for difficult moments, but it's short period. Having cancer is like running a marathon. And yeah, it just sucks. Shocking, right? Having cancer sucks. Anyway, reached my time. Not really saying anything at this point, so I'll end things here. And I'll talk to you at some point in the future. I'm assuming tomorrow, even though I don't know if I'll have anything interesting to say. Then again, from my perspective, I didn't have anything interesting to say today, so I guess it's all subjective.